Alright, welcome to Smokey Reacts. I'm your boy Jurnalist, and on this one, we are back to check out another video from historical Africa. Like I said, with these particular videos, they will be me kind of just learning about stuff about Africa that for sure never learned or heard about. So, like, yeah, not in a disrespectful way, but who the fuck was the first president of Mozambique? Where the fuck is Mozambique? Things I could not tell you, gun to my head. Don't like that feeling, so that's what we're here to do. Two birds, one stone. So thank you for joining me. If you could please hit that like and subscribe, and let's get into this one.
Considered a charismatic and thoughtful leader, Samora Machel was a military commander and the revered first post-colonial president of Mozambique upon independence in 1975. Samora Machel was faced with the unenviable task of building his country during a civil war. This war was between Samora Machel Frelimo and the Rhodesian and departed regime-sponsored Renamo. In this episode of Historical Africa, we look at the life and legacy of Samora Machel and also a brief explanation of Mozambican Civil War. Samora Machel was born in 1933 and was raised in the village of Chilimbene in Mozambique.
Let's just take a quick pause detour. I don't even know how to fucking spell that shit. How the fuck do you spell Mo? Okay. Like, I might have misspelling that shit. I surely did misspell that. I'll be quiet. Okay. Oh, okay. It's right above South Africa, next to Zimbabwe. All right. Just north of Pretoria. Oh, that's pretty as shit. God damn. God damn. Yeah, they don't show us shit like this. Never thought to look neither. Can't give it all up on them. But we are looking now. Alright. Curiosity satisfied. I know what the fuck the place looks like. Where's it at on the map now? Boom. Alright, first half of the job done.
Raised in the village of Chilimbene in Mozambique.
Chilimbene.
Samora Machel's parents were forced to grow cotton by the Portuguese, and in the 1950s, their farmland was taken and given to Portuguese settlers in order to avoid starvation. His relatives went to work in the South African mines under repressive and dangerous conditions. Soon after, his brother was killed in a mining accident. In the later years, Samora would attribute the radical political stance that he developed not only from reading the works of Karl Marx, but also from the experience of his family. Samora Machel attended the Catholic Mission School for his primary education, and by 1954, he had started studying in the capital city of Maputo to become a nurse, one of the few occupations open to the black at the time. Samora began his political activities in a hospital where he protested that the black nurses were paid less than the whites who were doing the same job. He later told a reporter how bad medical treatment was for Mozambique's poor by saying the rich man's dog get more in the way of vaccination, medicine, and medical care than do the workers upon whom the rich man's world is built. After 10 years as a nurse, Samora joined the Front for the Liberation of Mozambique, or Frelimo. Frelimo was dedicated to creating an independent Mozambique, so Samora Machel joined
Solid flags.
Frelimo in 1962. Soon after joining the organization, he was sent to Algeria for military training. In 1964, he returned to Mozambique and led Frelimo's first guerrilla attack against the Portuguese. In northern Mozambique, Samora Machel spent most of his time in the field with his men, leading them in combat and sharing their dangers and hardship. His qualities as a top soldier and a persuasive speaker, won him favor among his fellow comrades. Samora also enjoyed the confidence and respect of Frelimo's president, Eduardo Cavimambo. He would rise quickly through the leadership ranks and become Frelimo's leader in 1970 after the 1969 assassination of Eduardo Malani, the leader of Frelimo. The Frelimo Revolutionary Army weakened Portugal, and after the 1974 coup in Portugal, the Portuguese were forced to leave Mozambique. The new revolutionary government led by Samora Machel took over on the 25th of June 1975. Samora Machel would become the first president of post-colonial Mozambique, faced with the task of transforming the now post-colonial Mozambique. Machel attempted to recast the nation according to his Marxist-Leninist belief, and as such began the nationalization and socialization of the country's wealth and resources. The high water marks of Mozambique and Marxist was in the early 1980s under the single-party rule of Frelimo at the Frelimo Fourth Congress in 1983. The Corps went out to defend the fatherland, overcome underdevelopment, and build socialism. The national anthem of the time promised to make Mozambique the grave of capitalism and exploitation. Frelimo's own item described party members as soldiers of the people marching forward in the struggle against the Portuguese. Samora Machel government set up schools, struggle against.
Yeah, see, I've never seen Mozambique spelled like that. Is that how I'm supposed to actually spell it, though? Like how Brazil's really spelled with an S? Like on this do furthest to the camera on the right. I can read this patch clearly. Mocambique. So is it Mocambique instead of Mozambique? Mocambique?
Against the Portuguese. Samora Machel government set up schools and hospitals for the country. A reason why he is seen as an icon on the African continent was the fact that he allowed organizations fighting white colonial rule in the South African and Zimbabwe to operate from Mozambique. It is important to know that Samora Machel himself never sought to get rich off his position, opting for a minimal salary and never exploiting the perks of power. This endeared him to the public. However, Samora also made errors. His presidency, which plunged the country into an economic crisis, even though his social programs of free education and nationalization healthcare helped Mozambicans. By 1976, the country was burdened with a sinking economy. Samora tried to rescue the economy by limiting imports and instituting rationing. His efforts were not enough. However, furthermore, he enacted a strict one-party system and tolerated no criticism from opponents. His charisma and personal life kept his government in power, despite the drought and floods of early 1980s. The ongoing civil war with Renamo now is the perfect time to go into a brief explanation of the Mozambique Civil War. As I mentioned earlier, Samora Machel supported and allowed revolutionaries fighting white minority regimes in Rhodesia, present-day Zimbabwe, and South Africa to operate within Mozambique. Soon after Mozambique's independence, both of these countries attacked Mozambique's anti-Frelimo organization called Renamo. Renamo was formed in 1976 by white Rhodesians who are seeking a way to keep newly independent Mozambique from supporting the black guerrillas such as Robert Mugabe's Zangla forces that were trying to overthrow the white Rhodesian government. This Renamo officer recruited disaffected guerrillas where it belongs to Mozambique Frelimo once Rhodesia gained independence and became Zimbabwe. The sponsorship of Renamo was soon taken over by the South African Armed Forces. Renamo's activities include the killings of the Mozambique people, the destruction of schools and hospitals built by the Frelimo, and blowing up of railway lines and hydroelectric facilities. The Mozambique economy was strangled by these attacks and began to depend on overseas aid, in particular from the Soviet Union. This war was the edict to Samora Machel, who was trying to build the young country. By the late 1980s, Renamo's insurgency had caused at least 100,000 deaths and the creation of more than 1 million refugees. Mozambique's economy was brought to a standstill, and the government was unable to keep the country's railroad network functioning without the help of troops from Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Tanzania. In order to alleviate the impact of this war, Samora Machel signed the Kumasi Accord with the South African apartheid regime in 1984, under which each country agreed not to support the other country's opposition movement, and thereby Mozambique maintained an economic relationship with the white minority government that was battling the African National Congress, the ANC. Samora Machel signed this accord, hoping to alleviate the combination of economic and military pressure, which was increasingly undermining the viability of the Mozambican economy. However, even after signing this agreement, these two parties would remain suspicious of each other, and this would explain some of the conspiracies about Samora's death in 1986. We will touch on this later. So, Samora Machel honored the Uncommodity Accord. South Africa's border did not, and the fighting continued. By 1986, Machel was spending 42% of his national income to protect his people from Renamo. Eventually, Frelimo and Renamo signed a peace agreement, which was signed in 1992, and Renamo participated in multi-party election after 1994. In 1986, Samora Machel was returning to Mozambique from Zambia when his plane crashed in South Africa. He had a meeting scheduled for the following morning, at which he intended to reach out for the leadership of the armed force. Machel thus overrode the instruction from the security ministry that the president should not travel at night, with fatal consequence. His plane never reached Maputo. That night, it crashed into a hillside at Dumbozini, just inside the South Africa. Samora and 33 others died. 9 people sitting at the back of the plane survived. This news of his untimely death broke on the 20th of October 1986 and sent shockwaves throughout the world. It was believed by many that the South African government was somehow responsible for this crime.
Somebody killed my nigga. It's a leader of a goddamn nation. Mechanical malfunctions happen. But last time I seen stats, don't I have a better chance of a shark biting me on land than an airplane crashing? Isn't that the stats currently? Last I checked, I believe those were stats. Not my point, though. Leader of a goddamn nation? Nigga's airplane isn't top flight to fly at night? That just seems a little suspect. Especially when we have a military government. I don't know. Doesn't seem like with... I don't know. I could be wrong. I didn't fucking grow up in Africa. So I don't fucking know. But this just seems very suspect.
Crash, although it strongly denied a connection. Throughout Southern Africa, angry people mourned the loss of Samora Machel. In South Africa, protesters blamed their government for Michel's death, while in Zimbabwe, thousands of youth stormed downtown Harare. The crash remained a mystery, with others simply blaming it on bad weather.
What the fuck? There went a black box? What's going on here?
And others still believing in South Africa's guilt. Machel widow, Graça, who married South African President Nelson Mandela in 1998, gave evidence to South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission that supported the involvement of the minority South African government in the plane crash. A memorial to Samora Machel was erected in 1999 at the site of the crash. Samora Machel will forever be remembered across the continent for inspiring other nations that breaking the shackles of colonial oppression was achievable. To honor his legacy, there is a large street in downtown Dar es Salaam, the capital of Tanzania, called Samora Avenue. One of the largest streets in Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe, was named Samora Machel. Avenue after independence, a gesture of gratitude for Samora Machel's support for black liberation activities before majority rule. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on Samora Machel's legacy.
It was pretty good. It's pretty good. I never knew about this. And I like to hear, like, because again, they'd be like, oh, it's just corruption and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, there has to be some good apples out there. Obviously, there are. I've already seen them. I'm just saying, like, it's nice to be shown the flip side of the coin because this is, again, it's just history, people I didn't get to hear about. Never even seen my man before. It's crazy. This what's up. And then who was the colonial power over fucking Mozambique? Who fucking colonized Mozambique? Is it Mocambique? Like, is that how you're supposed to say it then? Instead of a Z, it's supposed to be a C there? Because I have no idea. I'm super confused about that. But besides that, thank you very much for joining me on these. Truly, it's just an exploration I'm going on, but I really do appreciate if you guys are going down the rabbit hole with me. I really do. Thank you very much. If you could, please hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Out of here.